Thank you very much. Mr. Joseph, can you report out on our closed session, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. While in closed session, the Board of Directors of the Foothill Eastern Transportation Corridor Agency approved a settlement agreement between the Foothill Eastern Transportation Corridor Agency, TCA, on the one hand, and the following parties on the other. The Save San Onofre Coalition, SSOC, which consists of Audubon California, California Coastal Protection Network, California State Parks Foundation, Defenders of Wildlife, Endangered Habitats League, Laguna Greenbelt, Natural Resources Defense Council, Orange County Coastkeeper, Sea and Sage Audubon Society, Sierra Club, Surfrider Foundation, and Wild Coast Coast Salvaje. State parties, the people of the state of California, as represented by Attorney General Kamala D. Harris, Native American Heritage Commission, and California State Park and Recreation Commission. The material terms of the settlement are as follows. The settlement and dismissal of 5 lawsuits challenging TCA's 2006 and 2013 approvals of the Foothill South and Tesoro Extension projects brought by the California Attorney General and the SSOC, which lawsuits are specifically identified on page 7 of the agenda for the closed session as those in which the TCA is named as a defendant. The TCA will rescind its 2006 approval of the so-called green alignment that would have run through San Onofre State Beach and its 2013 approval of its Tesoro Extension project. The TCA will refrain from building or funding a road project within an area referred to as the avoidance area in connection with a map that is part of the settlement agreement that includes San Onofre State Beach, the Richard and Donna O'Neill Conservancy, and other critical open space, wildlife habitat, and cultural resources in the San Mateo Creek watershed. The TCA and SSOC will cooperate in seeking additional long-term protections for the avoidance area in the form of legislation, interagency agreements, or conservation easements. Establishment of a cooperative framework by which an alignment for the SR 241 extension and other I-5 traffic congestion solutions can be identified, evaluated, and potentially advanced in a manner that follows applicable laws and meets South Orange County's transportation needs, without opposition from environmental organizations comprising the SSOC or alternatives outside the avoidance area that connect to the I-5 and that meet the other requirements of the settlement agreement. TCA may take preliminary actions related to construction of the Oso Street Bridge project, including required environmental review and design activities for the bridge, land or right-of-way acquisition, and construction related to Los Patrones Parkway, but requiring completion of environmental review for SR 241 extension and adoption of a post-settlement alignment or additional protections in place prior to construction. TCA may collect tolls on Los Patrones Parkway subject to certain conditions. TCA shall establish a $28 million conservation fund to help preserve and restore San Mateo Creek and its watershed. TCA and SSOC shall jointly develop a coastal access management plan to ensure public coastal access in San Onofre State Beach is maintained and enhanced. SSOC shall be reimbursed for $7.1 million in legal and other costs incurred. State parties shall retain full authority to enforce any environmental or other law. The directors voted on this item as follows. Directors Bartlett, Sachs, Schoeffel, Shea, Young, Beal, Kring, Murphy, Puckett, and Voights voted aye. Directors Ward and Ferguson voted no.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joseph. Having no other agendized items before the board, we'll adjourn to the next regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you.
Good morning.
Wait, hold on.
Good morning.
Turn back on. 1 sec.
Good morning. Welcome to the Transportation Corridor Agencies. I'm pleased to announce 5 speakers, beginning with Chair Craig Young, who will announce the result of this morning's closed session vote. Craig Young is the chair of the Foothill Eastern Transportation Corridor Agencies and council member, City of Yorba Linda. The spelling is common Craig, C-R-A-I-G, Young, Y-O-U-N-G.
Well, that's common for me anyway. I appreciate you calling it that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce today the Foothill Eastern Transportation Corridor Agency and environmental leadership, both locally and nationally, have reached a settlement in the long-standing lawsuits regarding the State Route 241, Foothill South and Tesoro Extension projects. As we just announced following our closed session, this was a 10-2 vote in favor of the settlement agreement. Historic day for us. The Transportation Corridor Agencies is pleased to join over a dozen environmental organizations in this unprecedented outcome, underscoring the collaboration between the agency's leadership and leaders of the environmental community. We reached this decision through each party's deep respect for one another's priorities and one another's objectives. This settlement represented a win for both our region's transportation needs and our region's environmental priorities. The transportation agencies has a rich history of environmental stewardship. In fact, the Transportation Corridor Agencies over the last 25 years has preserved over 2,000 acres of open space throughout Orange County, many of which are home to federally protected wildlife species, including the California gnatcatcher. As per the terms of the agreement, the Transportation Corridor Agencies will maintain its commitment to protecting the environment by pledging an unprecedented $28 million conservation fund to help preserve and restore the San Mateo Creek and its watershed. It is clear, both through the Transportation Corridor Agency's long-standing environmental initiatives, as well as the terms of this agreement, that the agency is committed to advancing regional transportation solutions while simultaneously protecting the environment. Finally, this agreement between the Environmental Coalition and the Transportation Corridor Agencies establishes a cooperative framework by which we can move forward together to address regional mobility transportation challenges. Thank you.
Lisa Bartlett, common spelling for Lisa, Bartlett, B-A-R-T-L-E-T-T, Chairwoman, Orange County Board of Supervisors, Supervisor, 5th District, and Vice Chair, Foothill Eastern Transportation Corridor Agencies.
It's great to be here this morning. This is truly a monumental day for all of the stakeholders. The settlement agreement is the result of an innovative and collaborative process by a group of bold leaders working together to develop an environmentally conscientious approach for the advancement of solutions to the region's transportation mobility challenges. With an expected population increase of more than 400,000 residents by the year 2035 and the development of more than 14,000 homes in Rancho Mission Viejo, our county needs effective and creative transportation solutions now in order to address the current and worsening congestion projections. In May 2015, the Transportation Corridor Agencies began a bottoms-up public engagement effort to determine whether or not the community could agree that a transportation mobility problem even existed. And if so, could they collaborate on ideas that might help solve the problem? The results indicated there is a high agreement that a mobility problem exists on Interstate 5, but the severity of the problem varied based on personal travel patterns, use, and location. Also from those efforts were several recommendations regarding the importance of collaborating with community members, regional transportation planners, elected officials, and environmental stakeholders, including the Surfrider Foundation. This settlement agreement now enables the Transportation Corridor Agencies to give serious consideration of those transportation project ideas to help solve the projected regional traffic congestion while simultaneously protecting the environment. We are looking forward to the next steps in this very important process. Thank you.
We'll now have 3 representatives from the Environmental Coalition, beginning with Elizabeth, E-L-I-Z-A-B-E-T-H, Goldstein, G-O-L-D-S-T-E-I-N, President, California Parks Foundation, and spokesperson for the Save San Onofre Coalition.
Good morning. I am Elizabeth Goldstein, President of the California State Parks Foundation, and indeed, spokesperson for the Save San Onofre Coalition. The settlement reached today is the culmination of more than a decade's worth of work by the Coalition to ensure the protection of the extraordinary recreational, cultural, and natural resources of San Onofre State Beach and the Richard and Donna O'Neill Conservancy. This agreement will guarantee that millions of Californians will be able to enjoy this magnificent park, California's 5th most heavily visited park, its beaches and natural areas for years to come. My colleagues standing here today and many others who are not present have all been deeply involved in this important fight. And I'd like to thank all of you for your determination, focus, collegiality, and persistence. I'd also like to give a special thank you to Lucy Dunn for the extraordinary facilitation that this settlement has seen and her expertise. And I'd like especially to thank Michael Kramen for his collaborative leadership as well as the TCA board, without whom this agreement would not be possible. Before I turn the microphone over to my colleagues, I'd like to make the point that through the course of our negotiations with the TCA, we discovered that the fundamental construct of this conflict, the choice between the preservation of San Onofre State Beach or a toll road through the park, was false. This joint agreement demonstrates that it is possible, with thoughtful attention to complex issues involved, to permanently protect and preserve San Onofre State Beach and trestles, safeguard our cultural resources, in particular Panhay Village, while allowing the TCA to pursue its mission of increasing mobility for Southern Orange County. The winners are the people of California. Thank you very much.
Next is Joel Reynolds, J-O-E-L Reynolds, R-E-Y-N-O-L-D-S, Western Director, National Resources Defense Council.
Thank you very much. I'm Joel Reynolds, Western Director and Senior Attorney for the Natural Resources Defense Council. On behalf of NRDC, I have 3 points I'd like to make this morning. First, it's fair to say that for the better part of 3 decades, NRDC has had a somewhat difficult relationship with the TCA. With that in mind, it's extraordinary to be standing at this podium today with the Toll Road Agency and announcing this agreement. A definitive determination that the California State Park at San Onofre and its natural, historical, and cultural resources will be permanently preserved. For this outcome, I want to thank the TCA board, and in particular, TCA Chief Executive Officer Mike Kramen, for his leadership and focused efforts to bring an end to so many years of conflict. I'd also like to second the appreciation for Lucy Dunn with the Orange County Business Council. Without her facilitation, the settlement conversations would not have been possible. Second, although you're hearing today from just 3 representatives of the Save San Onofre Coalition, I want to applaud and thank every member of that coalition, many of whom are standing behind us today, every organization and every individual, from staff to hundreds of thousands of members who have joined together for years to defend one of California's greatest and most popular state parks. The long-term collaboration reflected by this coalition has been one of the greatest professional privileges of my life. And all of us at NRDC are proud of the work that we've done together. Third, and most important, I want to emphasize the special importance of this agreement for current and future generations of California. It brings an end to one of the most hard-fought, long-lasting environmental battles in California history, one that NRDC and every member of the Save San Onofre Coalition have pursued with a single-minded purpose on behalf of the people of the region, in defense of California's natural heritage, and to protect the indispensable integrity of our world-class state park system. Years from now, as visitors continue to enjoy trestles and the entire state park at San Onofre State Beach, we will look back on this agreement as definitive proof that our parklands are no longer expendable, that the people working together can protect them even against important competing priorities, and that our transportation and other infrastructure needs can no longer be met by the outdated, unsound proposition that the path of least resistance runs through our public parks. This is a memorable moment. Congratulations to the Save San Onofre Coalition, to the TCA, and to the people of California on this landmark agreement. Thanks very much.
And finally, Stephanie, Stefanie Sekich, Sekich-Quinn, Quinn, with the Surfrider Foundation.
Good morning. I'm Stephanie Sekich-Quinn with the Surfrider Foundation. Our mission statement is to protect the oceans, beaches, and waves for all people. And it is with great pride that I say to our supporters today that we did it. For more than a decade, the cries of Save Trestles motivated and mobilized thousands of people to protect Trestles, one of the only stops in North America for the World Championship Tour. And of course, one of California's most iconic beaches. Today's agreement wouldn't have been possible without our many activists. In 2008, nearly 4,000 people attended the Coastal Commission hearing, and 3,500 people attended the Secretary of Commerce hearing, voicing their strong opposition to a toll road that would threaten San Onofre State Beach. Without this activism, we wouldn't have had the momentum to make it here today. And had we not continued our winning streak at the state and regional water boards, this agreement would have not been possible. All of these victories combined are what brought us here today, achieving a landmark agreement that permanently and forever saves Trestles. Equally important, had the TCA not been willing to engage in serious and oftentimes very difficult conversations, this agreement would have not been possible. The Save San Onofre Coalition has worked for more than a decade to protect this park and surrounding watershed. For these invaluable resources, both ecological and recreational, that have been treasured by millions. I realize that the word historic is often overused, especially lately, but in light of today's announcement, today is truly a historic day. Thank you.
That concludes prepared remarks. If there are questions. All right. Thank you all for coming.